y'all, Jessie P. Scrapbooking back with another process video. This one is for the Mixed Media Hop, Mixed Media Frenzy Hop for the Facebook group. And today I am doing this inspiration piece. And I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to, first of all, it's going to be on an 8.5 by 11, and I'm going to have two pictures on it. And these are the pictures I'm going to use. I'm going to cut them down so they're smaller, but these are the pictures. And yeah, I guess that's about it. I am going to see what I come up with. Okay, so I painted this. And it didn't record it. I'm sorry. I painted it, it dried, I went back to look at the video, and it wasn't there. So, I just used some paints from the Dollar Tree. They look like this. I just picked them up at the Dollar Tree. And, painted it. It didn't gesso it or anything, so it is a little bit wrinkly, but not bad. And I like the way it looks. So I know there's no bubbles in the inspiration piece, or circles or anything. It had the stripes, but I wanted to try something a little different. So here's where I go. So let's get going. Okay, so I also used a lot cooler colors in my layout and background than they did in the inspiration piece. So here I am cutting down the pictures. I cut the picture of my husband just a little bit, and then the picture of myself quite a bit smaller, just because it was I didn't need the whole background. So I am going to get out my stamp positioning tool here, and I am going to do some stamping just like they did. They have like the flower in the center with big leaves in the background, and I am going to use that idea, and mine of course will look different. I have different stamps, but I like the way that it looked, so I am going to use that. This layout actually was very hard for me to scrap lift. It was a very much of a challenge. I liked it, but it's not my style. So I had to do quite a bit of changing on it to make it my style. And I do really like the way that it turns out. I'm just using some white paper to stamp on here, and then I'm just cleaning up with some water and a shop towel. And here's where I'm going to make the base of the leaf base that the flowers kind of sit on. And I'm only going to show you one and how it looks when I stamp it out and cut it out. And but I do the same thing with I think I make 4 total, and I use different leaves and different size flowers for the different ones. I think I do 2 of this one, and then 2 different ones. But there's the same exact technique. I'm just like using the stem as the center and putting the stem down, and then not letting the little leaves overlap each other, making sure there's a space in between them. And then I just put it down and stamp it down. I do clean off my stamp each time, just so that it doesn't transfer any ink over to the paper before I want it to. And that way I get a nice clear, crisp image. And I really do like the positioning tool, because I can restamp if I need to, like I did on the flower, and made it nice and dark. And so I definitely like this tool. I want to get a really good one someday. I just put some little magnet strips in the back, and it holds down the paper just perfect. So I went ahead, and since I remembered to keep my hands in camera, I went ahead and left this little bit of fussy cutting in. I'll just show you the flower and this one little leaf cluster. And fussy cutting isn't something I ever actually think about. It's just something I do. And yeah, so I just show you a little bit here of how I cut out these little stamps images, and I am leaving a little bit of a white border all the way around. I'm not cutting directly on the stamped image. There's just enough just so that I don't cut off any of the black, but yet it doesn't leave a huge big white all the way around. And I like that. I did come back in and trim up the insides that I skipped. And there we go. So there is what my little leaf clusters will look like. And I'll put the little flower up on a pop dot, stick it down, and there's all the flowers and leaves that I did. And then I did stamp out some other flowers, just single flowers too. So I am only going to look at one half of the inspiration piece. I decided the whole thing, I couldn't get to work on a 8.5 by 11, and it was like, yeah, it was just a little too much for me. So I kind of just cut it off right about the middle of the photograph in the layout and moved the photos over, but then that gives me the 3 different clusters in the picture. The big one by the top there, and then a little one on the bottom and a little one on the side. And I didn't put any paint over on that side one, but it's okay. I was thinking about doing a stenciling over top of the whole thing, and truthfully I just forgot. But I like the way it turns out. So here I am just adding in some flowers in different spots directly onto the background. And I like the way that gives it that a little bit different depth. So you have the ones on the white paper that are popped up, and then you have the ones stamped right over top of the paint. And now I'm just going to mess around with these until I figure out how I want them there. Oh, I am going to pop up the individual flowers that I put down. I will pop them up on some foam dots. And in the piece for scrap lifting, it has a really neat effect around the picture that almost looks like it's like white paper or drawn lines behind it. So I am just going to put a couple pieces of white paper behind each of my pictures and then ink up the edges, and to kind of give me that same idea. I don't know if it really shows all that well, but I tried. Alright, got those adhered down, and now I am going to cut this little leaf off here because it's tucked in behind the picture anyway. You wouldn't see it, so I can use it someplace else. And now I'm going to get this bigger cluster tucked in where I want, and don't want to move it, so I'm just going to use my glue and just adhere it directly onto the background. And same thing with these little leaves here. I got them where I wanted them, and so I'm just going to put some glue on them and just keep them right there. These two are going to hang off the edge, and then I'll just trim them up. So it gives it that nice square edge all the way around, and I really do think that looks good. It looks like this whole cluster of flowers and color are not contained on this page. It's kind of coming off. Adding in just a couple more of the flowers, and here's where I put that little leaf that I cut off. I decided to stick it down here on this side, and now I'll just trim up the edges of my paper here. I do, well, go ahead and save those leaves thinking I might use them. I don't, but the 2 full leaves I will just save and use in another layout probably. I have a little drawer of stamped images that I'll just throw in. Alright, so now I decide I need a little bit more. I'm liking the way it's looking, so I grab, this is a rub-on from the Dollar Tree, and I like the way that it's, it kind of looks like stamped images already, but I only want to use the xoxo, and I'm using it kind of like as my title. And so I'm cutting that out, and I thought I was going to put it right there, but then I have that little leaf cluster that was sitting right there, and I didn't want to go over top of it. Excuse me, I had a hiccup. Didn't want to go over top of it, so I wanted to go underneath it. So I decided to cut it in half, and I'll put half of it down here. As soon as I figure out, I'm just messing with it, trying to figure out where I want these. And I finally got it figured out. I'm going to put half of it on the top here and half of it on the bottom. And this, it just nestles in there perfectly. And it kind of looks like it was stamped right on the background. And I really do think that that looks neat. And I love this big flower that's in this, on this xoxo. And so I pull that off. It rubs on perfectly. Didn't have no problems. And I'm going to put the other one right down here, and it just to balance it out. And that's the only rub-ons I'm going to use on this layout here. I thought about bringing in some of the arrows and stuff, but I decided not to. I grab a sticker sheet, or it's a sticker book that I got for Christmas. And I'm just grabbing some of the stars right this second. I grabbed one blue star, I stuck it over in the little cluster, and now I'm grabbing these metallic stars, and I'm putting 3 of them around, making kind of a triangle with them. And then I'm going to keep looking. A lot of stuff here. I don't know what I'm going to do with. Might give them to my nieces so that they can use it in their scrapbooking. But a lot of them, I love how many little stars and hearts and little sayings that this book has. So eventually I do end up grabbing some sayings. I think one says, we've got this. I think this one says making waves, just because I really like the color. It matched the same green I used in my painting in the background. And yeah, that one says we've got this. And then I think I had one more, but I can't remember. Yeah, I think it just says sunshine. For no reason. It was a sunny day, so might as well. And then I'm going to go and find some hearts. And I'm going to scatter some hearts around. Here I was looking at these. These are tile stickers, or letter stickers, I mean. And I thought about adding them in, but then I decided I just want the XO as my title, so I decided not to. And here's where I'm grabbing those 3 different hearts, and I'm just going to add them in and call this layout done. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to do. It was very challenging for me. After I got away from the mixed media in the background of the original picture, I was able to come up with my own, and I like how it turned out. So this is a hop. Don't forget to go down and check everybody else out that is participating this month. Thank you for watching. Bye.